All right, so testing, testing, one, two, three. I'm just making sure all the sound looks to be working pretty good. Just want to make sure that that's all looking dandy. I hope everyone's having a great Tuesday, and I hope everyone has a great Wednesday. No, today's Wednesday. Today's already Wednesday. I plan to be live tomorrow as well. What time will I be available tomorrow, or what time will I be live tomorrow? Well, I'll be live tomorrow. I'm going to be going live later tomorrow. It's going to be around. Actually, I'm just looking at my schedule for work right now. I will plan to go live tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time. So in about 30 some hours from right now, I'll be live again tomorrow. That will to be making up for not being live on Monday because I was out of town. But either way, even if I'm not live on the Saturdays and Mondays when I usually want to be, I still plan to go live twice a week, one way or another. So that's what we got going on. Let me just do a sound check and then we will get started. I hope everyone is having a fantastic Wednesday. Let's go over and look at the Fear Greed Index, and then we can get this thing started. I also probably should be going live on TikTok. That would be pretty important. So let me do that really quickly, and then we will get started. Technically not even 2 o'clock yet, so that's okay. We're going to get some people to join in here, and then we'll get started. Right now, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is currently sitting at 55. So we are still in greed, which to me doesn't surprise me that much. That seems like a pretty reasonable place to be. Is 55. I did buy more Bitcoin the other day. Actually, it was more of a trade. I bought more Bitcoin last night. It was a very small position. I opened a position of 0.04 Bitcoin, but I did open another position on Bitcoin right now at that level. It just made sense to me looking at the charts, and I see a lot of altcoins going up, getting a move to the upside, so it made sense to me to open up that position. My stop loss, I think, was like 110, so we can look into that here in a little bit, but for right now, the Crypto Fear and Greed Index is currently sitting at 55. I hope everyone's having a great day. And with that being said, we are going to get started. Let's go over and look at Bookmap. So what is Bookmap? Bookmap kind of shows you where the liquidity is at or where the orders are on Bitcoin. It's kind of, if you guys are familiar, it's kind of familiar with this indicator right here, which is called the VRVP. It's pretty similar to that. This indicator on the right, it shows you where there's the most orders. So Bitcoin lost 112,500. Your next stop would be about 111.3, and it wouldn't take long for that to happen. So Bookmap is kind of similar, except it shows you where the liquidity is at. It's a little probably more precise than that indicator, but I like using them in conjunction with one another. So for right now, Bitcoin on the weekly, this is the weekly on the left. And then if you look on the right, this is your daily. So on the weekly, just to break it down simply, we have a lot of liquidity at 125. We have some down here at 105, a lot down at 100,000, and then locally you have some here and there. And we actually have a decent amount at 120 as well, but I'm telling you the biggest blobs are at 120, 125, and 105 to the downside. Then if you come over here on the daily time frame, we just make sure it's current price action. We have a lot of liquidity at 113. That's another reason I opened the long on Bitcoin. I see Bitcoin likely getting moved to 113, and then if you break 113, your next stop would be 115, at least according to Bookmap. These can change as people pull orders and whatnot, but for the most part, these don't change too much on the daily, and especially on the weekly, they don't change too much. Then to the downside, you still have a little blob on the daily at 110, but overall, most liquidity is to 113. 113 is closer, and usually whenever you have more liquidity above you than below you and you're closer to that liquidity, you go to the upside. So we'll see what happens. I'm seeing at least short-term Bitcoin. I'd be pretty surprised if Bitcoin does not get a move to about 113,000. Probably sometime, we're not that far away, probably sometime possibly later today. That's only $1,000 away. So sometime later today, I could see Bitcoin. And in the next 24 hours, I'll say, at least a move to 113 seems probable, if not likely. At least an 80% chance I say that in the next 24 hours, we see $113,000 Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. Appreciate the likes. It does help support the channel. That's what I'm looking at for Bitcoin on the orders. Now let's go over and look at the actual chart of Bitcoin. And also, before I left town, I called Bitcoin in a head and shoulders pattern. You did come up a little bit more. And if you don't believe me, go check out my last live stream. I made this head and shoulders pattern, and then you eventually dumped. Now, let me see if we hit the measure move. I think it did, though. So to me right now, Yeah, you get the measurement. At this point, Bitcoin bottomed out, and I think that looks pretty bullish to me. And I see upside now continuing for Bitcoin. But let's kind of break it down because that already happened. I kind of want to get rid of this just to clean up the chart a little bit. And we're just gonna kind of start fresh on what's going on with Bitcoin. So on the daily time frame, let me start on the daily time frame, and then we can work our way down. On the daily time frame, Bitcoin right now on the stock hour site is getting that bounce. You can see it's trying, it's not a very fast bounce on the stock hour side, but I really like what I'm seeing. The 2-day looks very bullish to me. I see the 2-day in a falling wedge, so I usually don't look at the higher time frames above the daily, but to me right now it kind of makes sense to do that. So let me start on the 2-day time frame. The 2-day time frame looks like we have momentum to the upside, and minimum, the conservative target short term for Bitcoin right now is about 119. That would be the very conservative target. You can see that you never got overbought right here, though, so I would like to go all the way down here to really the last local low before you really get your measure move. And if you do that, it's suggesting that Bitcoin really gets a move to probably 131 sometime in the next 30 to 60 days on the 2-day time frame. Gold just broke an all-time high today, I believe. Anytime that happens in history, usually Bitcoin within the next 30 days also makes a new all-time high behind gold. So to me at this point, I'd be pretty surprised if actually in the next 30 days Bitcoin doesn't get back to 124, 125,000 minimum. But I would say the conservative target would be 119, and your more aggressive target, which still seems probable in the next 2 months, would be about 131,600 for Bitcoin. So I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin on the macro time frame. I like what I'm seeing. Now the 12-hour time frame is overbought. Let's be cautious here. None of this is financial advice, but this is just what I see going on in the markets. I'd be shocked if Bitcoin's top is in for this cycle. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, I'd be pretty surprised if the top is in. That doesn't mean that I'm not seeing some bearish patterns here on the smaller time frames that I'm not a little bit worried about. Like, this is a rising wedge that could definitely dump you back down to 105, actually 106,000. So let's be cautious. I love where the 2-day time frame is sitting for Bitcoin. Usually the 2-day is going to outweigh whatever the smaller time frames do. And it might suggest you make a double bottom or a higher low, but it doesn't really suggest you make a lower low on the 2-day, but that doesn't mean we don't. It just suggests it's unlikely. So right now, rising wedge on the 2-hour would take you back below your last local low to 106. Does that happen? It's possible. That if you only look at the 2-hour time frame, it suggests that happens. If you're only trading the 2-hour time frame, it suggests that happens. So I'm very open-minded. I like the 2-day time frame, but if the smaller time frame is dump, then obviously that could lead to the higher time frames obviously rolling over. So I'm just trying to see what I see. And do I see a head and shoulders pattern here? It's kind of bad. That was a clear head and shoulders pattern. Let me zoom in. This was a clear head and shoulders pattern on Bitcoin. You just had a steady uptrend. You had a good neckline right there. But here, if you draw that same line, it's kind of lopsided. So to me, at this point, I would not call this a head and shoulders pattern. And I would not be shorting this rising wedge just yet. Because this was a rising wedge right here, but you had a nice head and shoulders pattern. This one is more choppy, and I would not call this a head and shoulders pattern. I would just call this healthy price action to the upside. So let me look at the smaller time frames. Right now. So I see a possible rising wedge. It just doesn't look that bearish to me. You also have the smaller time frames also try to make higher lows. So I think it's just healthy price action at this point. And I would just stick to the daily time frame. That's what I did with Solana. I'm in a Solana long right now. As long as we stay on Bitcoin, I would say above this high volume node here at 108,500, I'm pretty bullish on Bitcoin, and I will leave it at that. I'm not calling a short right now. I did the other day on the last live stream. I'm not calling for a short right now. I see Bitcoin continuing to the upside. Super short term, you might get some sideways price action, but I'd be looking for more of a move to the upside based on the 2-day time frame that we just looked at. And again, my target's 119 short term, and then longer term in the next 2 months or so or less, I'd be looking for 131. So if in the next 2 months we don't see 131,000, I'll be surprised. So that's kind of the 2-hour time frame just touched the 200-day moving average. Can we get the 3-hour to do the same thing? That's sitting up at 114.3. That's really my next target, I guess, short term. If we continue up, is $114,300 and touching that 3-hour 200-day moving average. So that's what I see. I see more upside for Bitcoin short term. I could see consolidation, but I don't see a massive dump coming, despite me seeing a rising wedge here. I just don't think it's as bearish as this rising wedge right here. In this rising wedge, I saw bear patterns, head and shoulders. I don't see that in this one. I would be looking for this rising wedge to break out parabolically here, and if you do that on the 2 hour time frame, your measure move would be approximately 120, and that would hit that target of 119 that I just said. So I'm going to call a long here for Bitcoin. It's a bold call, but I'm going to go against this rising wedge and suggest that Bitcoin does pump to at least $120,200 here in the next week or so for Bitcoin. So we'll see what happens. But that's my bullish move, and I believe tomorrow sometime when I go live at 9 p.m. Central Time, I believe Bitcoin will be above 113,000 because again, Bookmap suggests that we go up to 113,000. So we'll see what happens. That's my idea for Bitcoin. I hope that you guys are enjoying this. By the way, we're live on YouTube as well. So yeah. If you guys have any requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, and I will look at them. I do appreciate it, and that's my idea. I'm in a long as well on Solana. I just talked about that in a TikTok and on my YouTube channel, a YouTube video. So if you guys have questions regarding that, I can answer them, but I'm not going to get too much into that because I posted that on both platforms. So to me right now, Bitcoin looks good. If Bitcoin continues to that target of 113 short term that I see, and then 119, I see Solana doing the same. So again, my super short term target for today is 113 in the next 24 hours. In the next week, I'm looking for Bitcoin to hit 119, and in the next 60 days, 2 months, I've been looking for Bitcoin to hit 131,000. I'm bullish on Bitcoin. I think the low is in. I could be wrong. You're above the 1 hour 200. It looks good to me. You're above the 2 hour 200, or you're teetering with it. And now the 3 hour would be the next target for Bitcoin at 114.3. So those are my targets. I see Bitcoin going to at least 113, and probably at least to 114, 114.2 today. So in the next 24 hours, I'd actually be surprised if we don't see about 114.2. But that's my predictions. If you guys have requests for altcoins, let me know in the comment section below, and I'll look at them. Thank you for the likes. I appreciate it. I see Bitcoin getting a move up here in the next 24 hours to at least 113. So that's kind of what I see going on. Let me go over to DEX. We'll see if we got anything interesting to look out for today. So Baby Trump is not what I'm looking at right now. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can pull it up. Let me just see. So I don't condone doing any of this. This is not financial advice. I'm just showing you what I'm seeing. And I just like watching this little scam coins for fun. I don't like trade them hardly ever. But if I see something consolidating for a while that looks halfway bullish to me, even if there's low volume, I might put $100 in it. You know, and it's a little fun. So at this point, Hopium has very low volume. The market cap is only $38,000. So I would not put anything more than $100 in here, maybe even less, because again, if you put much more than 100, you're not going to be able to sell it very easily. The slippage would be crazy. And as crazy as this sounds, I do see a possible move coming up to the upside. Usually I see a lot of these scam coins come out and they don't last very long. This one has been out for 2 days. Can you continue up here to the upside? So I would be surprised at this point if we don't get a move up to at least about $60,000 or $70,000 market cap. And I know that's crazy, but at the end of the day, let me go full screen here. At the end of the day, TA is TA, and this coin's been out 2 days and it hasn't dumped. Right here, after that massive green candle, and then you had a red candle, I would have expected you to dump there, but that hasn't happened yet. So at this point, I could see a possible move coming to the upside for this price action. It's called Hopium on Solana. 30 minutes, making a higher low. You're above the 21-day moving average. The 15-minute is above the 200, and 21 is touching price action in a flag. And I know it's low volume, so that's why, again, I wouldn't put much money in this at all. Volume's only about 12 or 13,000 for the day, but I could see this getting a move up to about $66,000 market cap for Hopium. Can we do that? We'll see. I might put $100 in here just for the heck of it and see what happens, but that's kind of my target right now for Hopium is about 66,000. So we'll see. I don't usually talk about degenerate coins that are very high risk, but that's my high risk play of the day, play of the week, play of the month maybe, because I don't talk about them often. So it could really be the play of the month. If you're on a scale of 1 to 10 of how high risk this is like a 9 or 10. Yeah, I would say it's probably a 10. So that's my Hopium is a ticker, Hopium on Solana. I'm not promoting this. I don't own any of this right now. I'm just thinking about putting like $100 in here, and if you get a massive pump, so be it. But most of these coins do not survive, so I'd just be very cautious. If you want something a little more risky than Bitcoin, though, way more risky than Bitcoin, that's your play. So, yeah. that's kind of my update. Let me see. I don't see any requests. Let me go over to YouTube. I don't see any requests over on YouTube. And with that being said, guys, that's going to kind of wrap it up. I'll be live tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time on YouTube and TikTok. Appreciate you for stopping by, and I appreciate the support. I'll see you guys in the next one. I hope you have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Again, I'm long on Solana. I see Bitcoin later today getting moved to 113 short term. Then 119 is my week target for the next week, and then 131 is the target for the next 2 months. I think if you hit 119 in the next 7 days, though, you probably need some cool down for the next few weeks. But I'm bullish on the market on Bitcoin on the next 2 months. So that's where I leave us off at, and I guess I would also watch Bitcoin now tonight to see if you can break out this rising wedge parabolically, and your measure move right now is about 118.9, almost 119. So that's my measure move, and we'll see what happens. But Bitcoin looks pretty good to me, and right now I'm not calling a bearish move out of this rising wedge because I don't see any bearish price action. I don't see a head and shoulders pattern like I did over here. I don't see anything crazy bearish, even on the smaller time frames I don't. So I'm calling along for Bitcoin, and I'll leave it at that. I'll see you guys in the next one tomorrow at 9 p.m. Central Time. Trade safe. Always use a stop loss. The trend is your friend. Until the end, respect the trend. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your Wednesday night. Adios and good night. I should say good afternoon, but I'll see you guys in the next one. Okay. So, yeah, that's kind of what I got, and I'm going to wrap it up there. I might just put $100 in Hopium, though, just for the heck of it. It does sound like fun. We'll see. It's very, very low price action, low price movement, so we'll see. Overnight, you got to bounce off of 32,000. Not that matters, but I just thought it'd be fun. All right, now I am really going to end the stream. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great rest of your evening. Adios.